Good morning. It's still morning. I took a little nap after breakfast. I did my studying for today and my reading, and I had breakfast. I was tired, and so I went back to sleep in my chair. Oh, and so I could rest up. We had a big day today. We're going to go to Rolla this afternoon. We'll be at Rolla tonight at the First Baptist Church. Come see us if you can. We'll come back. We'll stay at the Pulaski County Baptist Camp. They're always very kind to us. We get to stay there for free. And so if we're close by there, we can stay at the apartment. And it's kind of like a prophet's room. It's for traveling ministers. It's for that purpose. And all you need to do is let the director of missions know that you'd like to have it. If it's available, you get to stay there. His wife, Pam, makes it a personal ministry of hers to keep it nice with like fresh towels and coffee and that kind of thing. It's very handy, very nice. Big shout out to Pulaski County, to Nick and to Pam Catro. I love them very much, and they love me. It's a good deal. Brother Bill Sword, God bless you, Bill. Glad you're with us. And so we'll be at Rolla tonight, tomorrow night at First Baptist Church. Ron and I will, Dr. Adrian, and Sunday morning also. And then we will be back. I don't know whether we do an evening service or not. Dr. Adrian keeps the calendar, and I'm just half Bible, will travel. Like I always tell people, when people say, well, can you come and do this? I say, well, talk to Ron. He's the one who knows whether we can or not, because he's got the calendar. I usually stay just a couple of days in advance so I can see where I'm supposed to be and which clothes to put on. So I'm kind of like a trained monkey, except I clean up after myself. We've been in the book of Jeremiah, the book of the prophet Jeremiah. And it's a great book. God does more explaining about himself and other things in the book of the prophet Jeremiah than he does at any other one place in the Bible. Many questions you have about God can be answered in the book of Jeremiah. Like why he does things. We'll study this when we get there, but just for yucks, just so you'll understand what I'm talking about. Looky here. What is it? Chapter 33, I think it is. Maybe it's 333, chapter 33, verse 3. He says, call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great things that thou knowest not. Great and mighty things which thou knowest not. He says, you call on me, and I'll show you stuff you don't know. I'll tell you. I'll show you. I'll teach you. Isn't that great? And he does. This is a historical book. It is an emotional book. It is a spiritual book. It is a teaching book. We learn why God judges, and in specific, why he judged Judah, why he destroyed Jerusalem, why he took them into Babylonian captivity. We didn't have near as much explaining done when the Assyrians came and took the northern kingdom of Samaria. Actually, there was more done by the prophets than there was in the Chronicles and the Kings. And then God sent many prophets to the north to preach to them. But now it is the turn of the southern kingdom, Judah. And God is explaining, he sent, in the last chapter, God sent Jeremiah to the potter's house. And the point of it is the potter takes the clay and he fashions a vessel on the wheel. If it doesn't turn out right, he just wads it all up and starts over. Good morning, Kevin. We got you and Bill going this morning. I know a lot of people don't sign on here while I'm doing it because I've been real herky-jerky about when I do the program, and it's just because of the traveling and the doctor's appointments and stuff. And frankly, I run out of gas a little early and then have to kind of reboot. Not my computer or my phone. I have to reboot myself and get going again. But the day is long enough for me to get all these things done. And because of the miracle of the Facebook and YouTube platforms, of course, the Antichrist will use the same technology to destroy who's left behind. But if we use those tools properly, people can access this and watch it when they have time, which is the attraction of it. You don't have to show up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning to hear me. You can listen at 6 o'clock in the evening while you're on your way home or on your way to Walmart. You can listen to it over your phone speakers on the radio speakers in the car. So that's a miracle technology. You can listen anytime you want to listen. Actually, I prefer listening, and maybe I should restrict this to a podcast because that way I don't have to look at my face. When you do the live stream like this, you got to look at your face because you got to see whether you're in the picture or not. So 30 minutes a day of that is enough. Believe me. We will pick up in this explanation. And the second thing at the Potter's house is going to be a demonstration to others, not just to Jeremiah, as God is explaining. As we read this, remember that God destroyed Judah for 3 reasons. Because they went a-whoring after other gods, because they sacrificed their children, and because they believed lying preachers. And I'm sure you've never heard a lying preacher before, have you? They all tell the truth, right? If it's on the internet or on TV, it's got to be true. Why would they put them on there if it wasn't true, right? But I think that in this new world that's coming, this world of the Antichrist, I'm glad I'm going to be gone. I'm being with the church. I'll be with Jesus in heaven. I'll go up in the rapture. I'm glad I won't hear, because I don't think that in the world of the Antichrist, they're going to appreciate humor or sarcasm, either one. I think it's going to be a deadly serious business, buddy. And if you don't toe the line, you're going to wind up with your head chopped off. Read Revelation 13, which is a revelation, I'm telling you. It was for me. Just to bring us up to date with this second ministry from the Potter's house, it talks about taking a vessel and getting some people to go with him for a demonstration that God is going to make through Jeremiah to these leaders. Oh, I'd like you to also, before I read this, I'd just like to, a verse that God has spoken, chapter 3 and chapter 5, God really talks a lot about the false preachers, the false prophets, and the greedy, power-hungry priests, and the ruling class, and all the higher-ups. Back in last verse 31 of chapter 5, God says the prophets, and let's go to verse 30 for the whole sentence. A wonderful and horrible thing is committed in the land. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means. And my people love to have it so. What will you do in the end thereof? In other words, how's this all going to wind up as if you didn't know? Chapter 19, where we were yesterday, beginning in verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, go and get a potter's earthen vessel, and take of the ancients of the people and of the ancients of the priests, and go forth unto the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the words that I shall tell thee. Take some of the priests, some of the people with him, and say, hear ye the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring evil upon this place, to which whosoever heareth his ears shall tingle. Because they have forsaken me, and have estranged this place, and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah. And have filled this place with the blood of innocents. They have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that this place shall no more be called Tophet, or Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. And I will make void the counsel of Judah. All those priests that ruled by their rights, all those prophets that prophesied falsely, those lying prophets, the lying, deceiving ruling class, the king and his court, all the higher-ups, the temple lords, all the higher-ups, including the high Gyresticutus himself, all the way up to the king. I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in this place. And I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies, and by the hands of them that seek their lives. And their carcasses will I give to be meat for the fowls of the heaven and for the beasts of the earth. And I will make this city desolate. What is the reason he's making the city desolate? Because they went a-whoring after other gods. They sacrificed their children, and they believed lying prophets. I will make this city desolate and a hissing. Everyone that passeth thereby shall be astonished and hiss because of all the plagues thereof. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters. And they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend in the siege and straitness, wherewith their enemies and they that seek their lives shall straighten them. The siege is going to be so bitter. I read you yesterday where king of Israel during Elisha's day, overheard two women. And one woman said, well, we boiled my son and ate him yesterday. Now this woman hid her son. We can't eat him. That's about as bad as it gets. Remember what I told you, you need to decide ahead of time what you will do and what you won't do. There's a great song by Jeff and Sherry Easter. I love it a lot. Talk about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Is it in the days of old, 3 men were told to bow before another. But faith took hold, and they were bold. They say, we won't bow to any other but the Lord. They said, our God is able to deliver us somehow. But even if he doesn't, we won't bow. He decided ahead of him. O king, live forever. We are not careful to answer thee in this regard or in this matter. Our God is well able to deliver us from the fiery furnace, but even if he doesn't, we will not bow to your image. We won't do it. We ain't gonna bow. In life or death, just know this now. We ain't gonna bow. You see, Christian, that is your best defense against the graceless, godless era in which we live. You're surrounded by people who hate God. You're in a culture that hates God, led by a government that hates God, a world that hates God, and because they hate God, they're going to hate you too, and as soon as it's legal to kill us, they will. They kill us all over the world every day, and they don't even blink at it. It doesn't. They don't halt at it one bit. It doesn't cause nary a stumble. Good morning, Chris. God bless you. So you decide ahead of time. That's your defense. You see, they can mock us. They can throw us out. They can ostracize us. They can take away our jobs. They can take away our property. They can take away our food. They can try to starve us out. They can arrest us. They can beat us. They can torture us. They can put us in a dungeon. They can kill us. But there's one thing they can't do, and this is what really drives them nuts. They cannot change my mind, and they cannot change your mind, because we have the mind of Christ, and those who believe in him will not change. You refuse to participate on every level. You say, we ain't gonna bow. Decide it ahead of time. Decide it now. Live it now. God bless you, Don. Verse 10 for today, God tells Jeremiah, then shalt thou break the bottle that he got from the potter. He took the higher-ups from the temple with him and the king's court. He's got prophets and priests and princes and rich people with him. And he takes this vessel from the potter's house, and he takes it into the valley of Hinnom. Gehenna, that's where the word comes from. It's where things burn. It was the trash pile. That is the word that they used for the lake of fire in the book of Revelation. Then thou shalt break the bottle in the side of the men that go with thee. And they're going to be wondering what you're doing. What this is? He carried this jug all the way out here and broke it. We didn't even get a shot. We didn't even get a drink of the booze. He broke the bottle. Then shalt thou break the bottle in the side of the men that go with thee, and shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, even so will I break this people, just like the potter's vessel. Remember in the first part of the last chapter, where God likened the clay to the people and the potter to himself, and the wheel upon which he fashions us this life that we're in. It is by the sovereign will of God. And shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, even so will I break this people, and this city. As one breaketh the potter's vessel. Like this one, bam, like the one I broke. I will break this people and this city as one breaketh a potter's vessel that cannot be made whole again. Well, Jimmy, I thought you said that when he was fashioning it, he could, if it gets messed up, he can reshape it. That's when the clay is wet. When the clay is dry. If you drop the vessel that has not been in the urn, or the kiln rather, in the kiln, in the fire, it'll just turn into a pile of clay if you drop it on the floor. But after it's been seasoned, after it's been finished, maybe painted or shellacked, coated so it won't leak, whatever it is, then it's a clay pot. If you drop it, it's going to break into 100 pieces. Look, I looked all over them hills north of Gallup, and I've got lots of pottery shards, painted pottery, and I'd go out there looking for arrowheads and onyx and flint knives and things like that. And I've got quite a few, just walking around, poking around with my cane, letting the sun glitter off of it. and bending over and picking it up and putting it in my pocket because nobody told me I couldn't. Taking it home and said this was made by a man just like me. He didn't have a knife to cut leather, the hides. He didn't have a knife to scrape the hides. So he made one out of this sharp rock. A mind created that. Strong hands created that. And I look at that stuff and think, I'm just like him. We're men, we're both men. But I'm sure he was a lot tougher than I was because he was out there living barefooted with a breechcloth, probably, especially in the summertime. The clay pot just breaks. The clay can be formed again, but the pot, when it shatters, it can't be remade. It can't be whole. That is the part of what happens when you're born again. You see, the old man cannot be fixed. Jimmy Harris is such a sinner and so wicked that God cannot remake the parts of Jimmy Harris and turn him into something good. Because in my flesh there dwelleth no good thing. I am wicked, I am evil, I am sold under sin, I am born altogether in sins. In sin did my mother conceive me. Not the sin of the adult of making love between a man and a woman, but in the original sin of the rebellion from our mother and father, Eve and Adam. You see, Jimmy Harris is so wicked that he can't be remade. Jimmy Harris is like a broken pot with a shard here and a chunk there, little crumbles all around. See, that's, even if you glue it back together, what about all them little crumbles and little notches and little nicks that are just scattered everywhere in the debris? You'd never find them all. You could never glue them all back together. And if you did glue them back together, it'd be like a Frankenstein monster that was just put back together with pieces. It's alive! Oh, you got to see it, man. You know, watch Frankenstein. I mean, it's hilarious in parts, but it's also like horrifying. Anyway, the book is particularly horrifying. The Modern Prometheus by Mrs. Shelley. But that's what I'd be like if God tried to put me back together. The pot was broken. The pieces were scattered. It's all lying around in pieces, just the debris of my life. He cannot and will not piece it. So what he does when he saves me, he takes a new piece of clay and makes me a new man. And there's a new man living inside of me. The old man is still there, but he's dead. But he stinks. And every now and then, he stinks so bad and takes up so much room that he gets his way. See, God doesn't remake the pot. He makes us a new pot. We are born again of the Spirit of God. And shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, even so will I break this people, and this city as one breaketh the potter's vessel, that cannot be made whole again. And there they shall bury them in Tophet, till there be no place to bury. If you've ever heard somebody exclaim when they're swearing, and they would go, Great Scott, you know, or for the love of Pete. Well, when I was a little kid, there was a phrase that was just going out of usage but I heard some old people say it, especially older educated people, college people, and they would say, "What in Tophet is that?" Which would mean, well, what in blazes is that, or what the hell is that? That's what the usage was. What in Tophet? Because Tophet was the center of the valley of the sons of Hinnom, the fire. Good morning, Steve. Many people watching this morning. I talked to Larry yesterday. He said you're still ailing. I hope you're feeling better. Velda and I have been praying for you. And I shall say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, even so will I break this people in this city, as one breaketh the potter's vessel, that it cannot be made whole again. Grab onto that and hold on to it. It cannot be made whole again. You cannot turn over a new leaf. You cannot do better. You cannot start over. You cannot improve yourself. You cannot make yourself good enough to go to heaven. You must be born again. The old pot cannot be remade. You have to be made a new pot. And that's what it means to be born again. Till there be no place to bury. Thus will I do unto this place, saith the Lord, and to the inhabitants thereof, and even make this city as Tophet. I'm going to make the whole city of Jerusalem just like the trash dump, where you burn everything, and where you sneak through here, and where you go to the high place to burn your children and sacrifice them to Baal and Molech and Ashtaroth and Chemosh and the abomination of the Zidonians and all the rest of them. I'm going to make the city burn just like the trash dump. It's not going to be restricted to the valley of the sons of Hinnom. It's going to burn all of it. It's going to burn to the ground. I'm going to make Jerusalem just like Tophet. And the houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Judah shall be defiled as the place of Tophet. It was the trash dump. Everything wound up in the trash dump. Dung, scraps, blood, refuse of every kind thrown into the valley of Tophet. Burn, burn, burn. It's going to be defiled. I'm sorry about that. We had a telephone call come through, and I thought that I had shut this thing off, but I didn't, obviously, because it rang on us. I'm going to make Jerusalem. I'm going to defile the houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Jerusalem. All the rich people, the kings, the higher-ups, the king's court, the temple administration, the priests, the prophets, the scribes, all of them higher-ups. They'll be defiled like the place of Tophet, just like Tophet, where it's going to be like I'm burning the garbage, God says. Because of all the houses upon the roofs, they have burned incense unto the host of heaven and have poured out drink offerings unto other gods. I'm going to burn their houses down because they went up there and worshiped the host of heaven. I'm going to burn down their houses just like it's the junkyard, just like it's the valley of the sons of Hinnom, just like it's Tophet. I'm going to burn them out because on those very houses of those rich people, their women baked cakes and took them up there and offered them to the Queen of Heaven. I'm going to burn them because their men went up there early in the morning and bowed down where nobody could see him, and bowed down to worship the sun in the east, to worship Ra, the god, the abomination of the Egyptians, who is Satan the devil, who is also Allah, who is also any other god that's named under heaven besides the Lord Jesus Christ. They're all the devil. And you poured out your drink offerings there to other gods. You baked your cakes. You worshiped the sun. You worshiped the star of your god, Remphan. You used it for sorcery, to tell times and places, and to try to change times and places, to do your witchcraft and your hoodoo. Never forget, the reason God destroyed Judah was because they went a-whoring after other gods. They sacrificed their children, and they believed lying prophets. That is the same reason God is now destroying the United States. There will be no reprieve. You need to save yourself and anybody else you can convince from this untoward generation. Your only hope is the blessed hope. That's it, Babalula. That's all you got. So you hang on to Jesus Christ and forget the rest of it, because no matter what anybody tells you, he's coming soon and he ain't happy. You need to get right. You need to get right today. We will resume this. I think I'll resume it tomorrow. I'm traveling. I'll be in a basement at the Baptist camp. I have done this program from that spot before, but if for some reason with this weather, if I'm not getting a good signal, good morning, Kayla. Oh, God bless you. I'm glad you're with us. If I'm not able to get out to you tomorrow, I do know that they live stream their Sunday services at the church where Ron and I will be tonight in Rolla. If they live stream their services, I'll post them. And if I cannot get a signal to where I can do the program where I am, then I'll just have to not do the program that day. But God willing, I will still be alive Monday and I can do it then. But I plan on having a program tomorrow. And if the church continue, I know they live stream their regular Sunday service. If they live stream our meetings, I will post them on our Facebook page for you too. So God bless you. And remember, the only difference between a sinner and a saint is a Savior. And it's important that you remember who you are. You remember who you are. God bless you, everybody.